Back again, back again.
Why you was looking around like that?
Because I'm still used to Nadeska being here.
Me
By the
too.
way, get well, babe. Like she's
Bro.
getting a little bit better, but unfortunately it's Thursday, so she's missed this week. However,
We miss you, no, Daneska. We miss you.
of course we miss her.
Yes.
However, to all the fans, we have to let y'all know off top that next week is Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
And I had to take a week off to prepare for it. So we're not airing next week at all, okay?
Right.
So if you, the next time you guys will see us on air after today will be not next week, but the week after.
December 2nd.
Yeah, December 2nd. Damn, you know the date and everything.
Yeah, I
Look
know
at
the
you.
date, man. I'm ready for some vacation time, man. Putting in a lot of work this year.
Now, there's a lot of like fluency that happened after yesterday's show, because as soon as we ended yesterday's show, I seen you on your phone. You were like looking through like Grammy nominations. And
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about today.
Absolutely. Let's
So
get to it.
the 2020 Grammy Award nominees were announced, and we're getting a lot of mixed responses, but we're going to go through a couple of them, okay?
Let's do it.
First of all, salute to Nipsey Hussle and God Rest His Dead. He did get 3 awards posthumously, but some of the main categories that were announced that had to do with rap were Best Rap Album. We had Dreamville getting nominated for Revenge of the Dreamers 3. Meek Mill got a nomination for Championships. 21
Yes.
Savage
Yes.
got a nomination for I Am Greater Than I Was. Tyler, the Creator, got a nomination for Igor.
Yep.
And YBN Cordae, he got a nomination for
The Lost
The Lost Boy. Now, before we get into the other categories, because there's a lot to really unpack.
Right.
This definitely struck a chord with me when I saw like Cordae responded to that Grammy nomination, and I think we even got a clip of it. Roll it.
Let's check it out.
Man, what the fuck, bruh? This shit crazy, nigga. This shit crazy, nigga. What the fuck?
Yeah, super emotional, but he also threw up a clip later on about like him. It was him 2 years ago predicting that this was gonna happen. And
Right.
if you ever were a fan of or you believe in the theory of speaking into existence, I think he's definitely someone who's done that.
Absolutely.
But let me read out a couple more. Let me read out a couple more categories before we actually get into saying.
Before you do that, I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
I would like to quote one of the GOATs, as Ak would say.
What up?
Does anybody know YBN Cordae song in here? Remember Academic said that?
Hey, that was
remember
before-
Academic said that?
before
Does
the album
anybody
came
know
out. Before the album came out now.
Before the album came out.
Before the album came
Does
out.
anybody know what? But nah, salute to Cordae, salute to Cordae, man. I'm happy for him, Ace, the whole YBN collective, my man B. That's amazing to see them just nominated.
All right. Well, let's do this then. Let's talk about Best Rap Album.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, I'll say the other categories in a second, but Best Rap Album, Dreamville, Meek, 21 Savage, Cordae, and Tyler, the Creator.
Right.
They got nominated. Did they get it right?
I think that they got it right. I think for the most part that they got it right. It's 2 albums that's missing in there that I wish could have been in there. One is Eve by Rhapsody, and another is So Much Fun by Thugger. Those are 2 of my favorite albums this year. But I think for the most part they did get it right. Remember when we was talking about, Meek dropping November last year and then 21 dropping December last year, and it was like, damn, I was like, this is not a 2018 album. Like, this album is set up for the next year, I think, for all the awards. And you got to play that submission game with the Grammys, et cetera.
We had those arguments even behind the scenes for
Right.
our award show.
Yes.
Which is, again, it's coming up again, by the way. So
Right.
whatever they didn't get right, we'll get right.
We gonna get it right.
So you think pretty much they got this right?
I think that is, I think it's very hard to like, and I'm just not one of those people that feels like the Grammys, I think the Grammys is a great thing, but we don't celebrate our own shit. I don't see anybody, getting really excited when they're nominated for a BET Award or a Soul Train Award. You know what I mean? And I think like the Grammys, is a high level accolade, but at the same time, it's like all we do is hype ourselves up to complain. You know what I mean? For the most part. But I do think in terms of rap album, they got a few of the right ones in there. The thing is, Tyler, Creator, that's one of my favorite albums of this year as well. Remember, I said that this is going to be one of the albums of the decade, like, later on, but I don't think it should be in rap album of the year.
I think that's my only complaint, because I feel like the Grammys over the years, and especially once they started to recognize the greatness of Kendrick, and even going forward in recognizing acts that were essential and core to the tradition and art form of hip hop, but perhaps weren't the biggest names. Because at first it felt like it was a bunch of old white dudes just picking the most familiar name. oh, my grandson listens to so-and-so, and that's the popular one, right?
Right.
So that's the nominee. It looks like these days they got some real nominees that if we're going to have a cultural conversation, all of these albums, for better or for worse, are going to come up. I get it with the Tyler thing.
Yeah.
So I do believe they got it right. You know, I do think Thug had a very stellar album, which could have been considered. But I understand you only could put a certain amount of people in the category. So I'm not mad at it. Who's your winner?
Whew, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I ain't gonna lie, man. If I gotta go with like my favorite, damn, yo, shit. My winner out of these 5, I'll go with Cordae. I will go with Cordae. I think that Cordae, the value, while Meek has a really, really great album and 21 has a really, really great album, even Tyler just sonically has a great album. I think Cordae, the shock value is him being like the rookie, is him being the young guy and being able to compete. And I think like when you go through his album, there's so many people that's critical about singles, like, yo, what's the hit record? What's the hit record? He has a body of work. Like, he has a body of work. He tells his story. We talked about that. Like, he tells his story on there. You get to know who he is. You get to know where he's from, what he's about. And I think that in terms of rap album, yeah, hell yeah. I think I would go with Cordae. And that's none of my personal bias because that's my man. I think that he has a really good album.
I think if you really like analyze this list bar for bar, I think it's up there. I think it's hard to deny or hard to say that doesn't make one of the strongest cases.
Right.
I'm gonna actually go with 21 Savage. I am greater than I was.
Okay.
I felt that album was complete, and I felt it showed some growth in 21. You know, it still had them same joints that we're accustomed and used to from him in terms of some hood shit, but like we were starting to see the maturity of 21 Savage, and to keep it real, if you've been a fan of him since like the Savage Mode mixtape days, like, you'll realize that like he's leveling up. So I'll definitely go with 21 Savage.
I ain't mad at that because he's come a long way from Red Ops. Like, I ain't gonna lie, he's come a long way from Red Ops.
Okay, now that's the best rap album.
Right.
The next category that a lot of people are also talking about, and it's definitely hip hop, is the best rap song.
Best rap song.
And by the way, there's 2 categories that like coincide. There's best rap song and best rap. It's like rap/sung performance.
Yeah, I see that. I see that.
So anyway, for best rap song, they had Bad Idea, YB and Cordae. That was his second Grammy nomination.
Yeah.
Featuring Chance the Rapper and Gold Roses, one of my favorites, Rick Ross and Drake.
Right.
They had a lot. 21 Savage and J. Cole. They had Racks in the Middle, Nipsey Hussle featuring Roddy Ricch and Hit Boy, and also Suge by the Baby did get a nomination.
Yeah.
You think they got that right?
For the most part, yeah. There's some songs I would have liked to see in there, but it's these categories is kind of funny. Like you said, rap song/sung performance, but I'll say who I would go with this. I ain't gonna lie, I gotta go with A Lot by 21 and Cole, because I feel like that's the most memorable record. I feel like of course Racks in the Middle, dope, but 21, like that song A Lot, like you said, it shows a lot of growth. Then him and J. Cole getting together, and it just plays into his story in the whole album, I Am Greater Than I Was. Because right after this drop, we seen him go through his whole thing with Ice and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. That record meant a lot, especially what he went through after.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, and you know how you had to put a disclaimer saying,
What is this
forget
coming
the
back?
bias, even though that's my man.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little biased to this one because I played this song the most out of all these songs on here.
Let me
And
see if I can guess it first.
Nah, you know what it is.
Of course. All right.
It's Gold Roses with Rick Ross and Drake.
Right.
And honestly, I feel like this is one of the most underrated songs. By the way, they did 2 collabs this year. You had Money in the Grave, which was Drake's single, and Gold Roses, which is Ross's single of his project.
Right.
And honestly, like, I felt like, of course, when Drake pushes any song, his single is going to go further, but this was the better song and one of their better collabs that they've had in recent history. And that's a lot to say because their history of collaboration is really good. But clearly, I got to go Gold Roses. So, do I think they got it right, though? I'm going to say yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yeah. Like, I mean, you could always throw some other joints in there, like "Ballin'" by Roddy Ricch.
That's one of my favorites.
I feel like that's a really cultural record. That's Mustard's song featuring Roddy Ricch. He's his producer though. But yeah, I feel like the Baby getting acknowledge, and this is where I'm seeing the Grammys being a little bit more in tune. So as much as you want to get mad, they can't nominate all 50 you niggas.
Right.
You get me? And to be honest, not all y'all niggas, like you have to be in the top 5 best to
Right.
get nominated in a category. Just think about that.
Right.
You can't be like, oh, I had a good year or a lit year. Right?
You know what? Go ahead, because it's something that I want to add to this too. Okay.
Like the mere fact that they're nominating Suge by the Baby, like they know what's going on.
Right.
You know, or at least the people who are voting, they kind of get it somewhat.
Well,
I would believe.
we had a good debate behind the scenes for our awards regarding Suge. Remember that?
Yeah.
Right, because Suge has to be. That's one of the. I think that's Suge is a moment in time. Like that's a record that's a moment in time. But what I like about these categories on performance and rap sung performance, it does open it a little bit more so that you can put more people in. But I'm happy that they didn't just take metrics, because if that's the case, Lil Tecca would have been in there for Ransom.
I be feeling a little Tecca hate, man.
There's no Tecca hate. There's no Tecca hate at all. I'm just saying.
Okay, all right. Well, you know
It's not a bad song, but I'm just saying. Remember when we was talking about we looked it up and we seen how many streams
we
it had?
have to petition Roger for going forward. We have to start filming like when we discuss like our behind the scenes for Everyday Struggle Award.
Absolutely.
Because I could imagine some of these same conversations happen. I know people they submit ballots and stuff like that, but I know, like, for example, like with like Lil Tecca Ransom versus Suge, like by the Baby.
Yeah.
It's like how do you make that distinction on what's more important to the culture, what should be awarded? If we go off numbers, you might look one way. If we go off like what that song did, what it helped that artist to do, and probably what it means like in the culture, it's probably a little bit different.
Listen, man, Suge had everybody doing that little motor, that dance shit. Like I think it's just. It goes within the hip hop conversation because of that. Now, Tecca, I like Ransom. I think Ransom is a dope song, but
I feel like you gotta take a hot take, man.
I gotta take a hot take. Nah, I feel like
everything I hear about with you when it comes to Tecca, I don't think you think that ain't gonna be here like in 2 years.
I don't think he wants to be here in 2 years, nigga. He said it. What are you talking about? He said he don't want to be in. He said he wants to quit, like after having the #1 album or some shit.
That is so. But do you feel like, and I guess maybe just boil it back down to the Grammy conversation. Do you feel like music like that, which might do numbers, but may not be really like having that footprint on the culture and just like the art form in general, do you feel like songs like that, great that you have the numbers and the plaques, but you're probably not gonna get awarded for like a rap award?
Well, you know what? I think that it does have a footprint on the culture, but I think that that's the big distinction between age in hip hop culture. It's like, I can't tell a kid, if it's probably a kid that's 13, 14 that listens to Tecca every day when they get up, I can't tell them that album is not classic to them and how they feel about it. And I'm talking about like kids that might be in the hood. You know what I mean? It's not, everything doesn't boil to the music just being big in the suburbs. I'm thinking about like how kids engage. It's kids who love that type of music, you know what I mean, who come from the hood, that listen to this shit. So
why
it's
should
like,
it get nominated?
I'm not saying it shouldn't. I'm just saying like,
well, just in your opinion, this is our is so subjective, and that's why somebody always gonna be mad.
Well, I think like, when you think of, because remember we talked about presentation and packaging, right? And I think when you package each one of these artists on how you want them on your platform, if it's the Grammys, you're looking at who's coming there, right? So it's like, of course you want the Baby on the red carpet. Like it's a lot of different values that go into having them there as opposed to them just being nominated for a song. So it's like, you see Tecca, he doesn't look like he's happy about anything whenever he's doing something dope. Yeah. So it's like, I'm thinking that all of that, who he is as an artist plays into how they're picking the music as well. It's not only based on the music.
That's interesting. I could imagine if it goes to that level in depth. Like, I mean, we've heard in like the Brother award show, at least for film in terms of the Oscars, like there's really a whole game you have to play that people feel like not only your performance is worthy, but like you are worthy.
Right.
You might be right with that. All right, let's move on to best rap performance.
Okay.
Which is a little bit different than best rap song, even though they're considered songs. Anyway, J. Cole got a nomination here for Middle Child. The Baby got another nomination for Suge. We had Dreamville featuring J.I.D., Boz, J. Cole, Earth Gang, and Young Nudy. Young Nudy got a nomination, man.
That's lit.
Now, he was flexing yesterday. They got one for Down Bad, Nipsey Hussle, and Roddy Ricch. And again, Hit Boy got another nomination for Racks in the Middle,
Right.
and Offset and Cardi B, the couple of the year, got a nomination for Clout.
I think that Clout is well deserved. That's a very dope song.
I don't really like that
You
song.
don't like Clout? Yo, Clout is a very, very dope
I
song.
feel it was so cliche. They do anything for Clout.
I mean, my nigga, it is cliche, but that's the narrative of what's going on social media. It's like that's all people do shit for is for clout. So I think like that plays into the times of what's going on in the game. But I would love to see
I
like
think there's only one winner here, bro.
it's only one winner here. But all right, I've said my winners a few times. I want to think who do you think wins, but who would you like to win?
J. Cole Miller Child has to win here.
Okay.
There's zero, like, this is how I look at this category, right? And I've watched Grammys, you know, for like almost like a decade now. So I've kind of, even though these categories sound goofy, like I kind of get what they mean. Like a best rap performance to them is like how you perform on a record and how the record just flows all throughout. Like so Bodak Yellow, I believe it won that category too.
Right.
Bodak Yellow by Cardi B might not get the best song,
Right.
but in terms of best rap performance, super eligible to get that, right? I think J. Cole on Mill Child, he annihilated the whole song. You play that shit from start to end. A tremendous performance. Shit, we were even saying, yo, there's no, like, is it just, do we just call it one big freestyle? Do we, like, how do we categorize this in terms of a song? I think that's the best rap performance.
I like that pick. I like that pick. I also like, if we talking to rap performance, I like Suge for this one. I like Suge for this one.
You really?
And I like Suge for this one. I mean, you know, I haven't seen J. Cole perform Middle Child, but I've seen DaBaby do Suge at least at 2 shows this year. And I just know that when that shit comes on, like when people hear that Justin made another one, like you know how we talked about the tags and like just the impact? I think that when it comes on, it just does something to those kids in the crowd. So I think that I would go for Suge for this one.
Okay, and our last, there were other categories, and we'll get to like a couple snubs afterwards, but best rap / song performance.
Yeah.
I think this is the one we were talking about, the distinction, right?
Yeah.
Khaled got one with Higher, featuring Nipsey Hussle and John Legend. Lil Baby and Gunna got one with Drip Too Hard.
Yeah.
Then Lil Nas X with Panini, he got a nomination. Then Mustard featuring Roddy Ricch, Ballin' did come through here. And as well, Young Thug featuring J. Cole and Travis Scott, The London.
Yeah.
What do you feel about this?
Uh,
Got it right?
I think that it feels right because it's very competitive. Because even like I like all of these songs. Like it's not a song in here that I dislike. Actually, my favorite song of this year is "Ballin'" by Mustard and Roddy Ricch. But I ain't gonna lie, I think that and we got to give my man one. We got to give Nipsey one. And I'm gonna go a Higher. Only because like that record was a different side of him. And had he been here to perform that, I think it would have been big. I think it would have taken him to another level. And he deserved one. I feel like he deserves one. And it's not just for his passing, but he needs to be appreciated.
If he doesn't win, I'm wondering if there's any, I don't know if it's necessarily a Lifetime Achievement Award or like something, but with some posthumous like acknowledgement of his contribution. He was nominated last year for Rap Album of the Year.
Yeah.
I do believe Nipsey should be definitely acknowledged in some way. Yeah. I'm honestly gonna go with, and by the way, I do remember what rap song performance means. It's weird, right? So it means that you were, it could be a collab or it could be just you by yourself. Drake usually gets like a lot of nominations for this, which means you're completely singing on the hook and then you at least rap on the verse. Which, okay. I don't know. It's weird. So Middle Child, like, wouldn't really get it, but
right.
Ballin' would. Anyway, I'm going with,
what you going with, man?
I gotta go with Drip Too Hard, man. Drip Too Hard, it kind of feel like that came out last year, though, man.
It did.
It came out end of last year, then.
Shit, that shit was out in the summer last year. Remember the Baby and Gunna album came out last year?
Well, I don't know how it got on here, but I'm going with that. Because
no, but Drip Too Hard is a major record. Like, it's a big record.
Yeah, I was honestly right about to go with Ballin' with Mustard and Roddy Ricch, but like I'm gonna go with Drip Too Hard. I do feel like, if it's possible that Baby and Gunna could take home a Grammy to Atlanta, crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
That would be hard.
Crazy.
That'd be hard.
Anyway, real quick, like because the rest of the categories, some really aren't rap. I did want to just get your overall opinion because fans were definitely upset and irate about a bunch of stuff. Meg Thee Stallion, snubbed. Do you feel like, and again, we do have more categories, but we can't get into all of them. Did you feel like any song or maybe even a project deserved to get nominated to the point that she has a legit, and she hasn't said anything about her fans, they have a legit point to be upset?
Yeah, I think, well, I wouldn't, like, say her project, but I just think overall impact, and I know that, like, you know, for Best New Artist, you got to probably sell a ton of records, but I think that for me, and my criteria for Best New Artist and theirs might be totally different, but I think that Meg Thee Stallion is one of the best new artists.
Lil Nas X was supposedly the only rap nominee for that.
That's kind of, well, yeah, that's kind of wild. That's kind of wild.
One word answer. The Baby, do you think his album should have gotten nominated?
Yeah, I think well, not Kirk. I would have went with Baby on Baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. GoldLink did have a response to kind of wrap this all up. I believe, you know, he was also kind of weighing in on Tyler, the Creator's Igor, not being nominated for Album of the Year, but just put in the rap category. And he had a really long quote, which I think I got here, but pretty much he was like, yo, it's fuck the Grammys till the day I die. I ain't participating in this wild-ass, slave-ass, political-ass, cheating-ass game any longer. After 3 asses, pause, like, you know you mad, right? He says the lack of relevance you guys have solidified today is unbelievable. Tyler got 1 fucking nomination in a category he didn't even participate in, knowing damn well he deserved Album of the Year. Burna Boy deserved more. That's the point.
Yeah, right.
Coffee deserves more. True, a little bit. The Baby couldn't qualify for Best New Artist, apparently because he had mixtapes in the past. So, I mean, there were people disgruntled. I believe Rhapsody was a little bit disappointed. I think that's what she quoted.
Yeah.
And Tyler, the Creator, with his nominations, he was like, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll take it. So.
I mean, like, Tyler, like, you know, he was nominated for Flower Boy. I can't remember what he was up against when he did Flower Boy, but I felt like Flower Boy was a really great album, and he should have got some sort of award for that. But I think, like, he's over it. But this is what I'm saying. We give. I hear GoldLink, but when these niggas nominate you again next year or something, you'll be right back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be right back. We get so upset, but we give them the power. Like, we're giving them the power to be upset. You got to remember, this shit is not the fucking hip-hop awards. They specifically make hip-hop award shows, and everybody shuns them shits.
Yeah, I think all the award shows got their place. Like, yo, if you're the person saying, yo, I did more numbers, yo, go to the Billboard Awards or AMAs or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're rewarding people for doing numbers.
Yeah.
You think you a writer, nigga, go to the ASCAP fucking award. Like, everybody there's an award for everything, and you know, the Grammys seem to be like still the top of the mountain in terms of when you could put even Grammy nominated by your name, it means a lot.
Yeah.
But listen, we're gonna keep having that discussion on snubs versus who deserves it, continuing. I just don't think this year we had anyone to say, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, I didn't see.
You get me?
Listen, I'm tremendously happy to see Meek nominated for a Grammy for his album. You know what I mean? Like, even to see Cordae, so.
Also, let me just salute to real quick. Her and Lizzo, they racked up a bunch of awards. I know they're not necessarily rap, but definitely deserves to be acknowledged. Right. By the way, our award show, okay? We gonna get it right. We want niggas mad at us,
right?
Okay. Next month is coming, and if you guys have any suggestions on who should be nominated for what categories, look back at last year's show and give us some suggestions. Regardless, we gotta move on to my man Orbs. Sorry, I gotta do it, bro.
Okay.
Complex, they released a list of the top 10, or actually just the 10 best rappers of the decade. And guess who was number 1? And by the way, before you predict the wild number 1, they were rating the list on overall impact, consistency, skill, and influence over the span of a decade. Guess who was number 1?
Guess, man. Spoiler alert, Drake.
Okay, Drake came in as number 1. Kendrick number 2, Kanye number 3, Future number 4, J. Cole number 5, Travis number 6, Jay-Z number 7, the only female on the list, Nicki Minaj number 8, Tyler the Creator number 9, Pusha T number 10. I might go first on this one.
Oh, go ahead.
Why Pusha T number 10?
I don't know.
Did you vote on this list? Because you know when niggas look at the Complex, they be thinking it's me and you.
Yeah, everything, exactly. I didn't know this was even going on, but I don't know.
Okay, just really glancing through the list, anything glaring, because I looked at Pusha T and I was like, Pusha T has made solid hip hop contributions, but if I'm going over the whole criteria, mentioning influence, impact, this and third, I don't know how he's number 10. I just don't know.
Well, I can't say that because if we look at the early,
Meek's not on this list.
Meek's not on this list, which is kind of crazy. When you look at
Young Thug ain't on the list.
yeah, Thug ain't on the list, which is very crazy. I mean, when you look at, from 2000, from this last decade, I mean, Pusha has dropped really good albums, but I think like he keeps a space. Like no matter, there's no like decline, regardless to sales or whatever the case may be. When you think of Pusha, you don't think of his age, you don't think of his sales, but you think of his influence every time he drops something. Like it's always a conversation, whether he's beefing with somebody or not. Well, we've only seen him beef with Drake and Wayne, right, for a little second, but it's always a topic of conversation, specifically on social media when Pusha drops. So I'm not all the way mad at that, but I do think that Meek should be in there. I'm not mad at Kanye or Kendrick.
Let's stick with the top 5.
Okay.
Is that order even right? Drake, Kendrick, Kanye, Future, Cole.
As far as influence, I think that
It's influence, it's impact, it's overall quality of music, it's like a mixed bag. So pretty much it's overall everything.
shit. Top 5, I think it could be, I probably would move Future. Nah, I can't even say I'd move Future over Kanye. Cause if we talking about impact, then we gotta look at it, we gotta act in the
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy dropped in 2010.
Yeah, but we not only that, we gotta look at fashion, what he's done over the past decade. You know what I'm saying? Like sneakers culture, all of that shit. Cole, ultimately, I can't be mad at that top 5. I can't be mad at that top 5. I would take Jay-Z out of the category.
I think I might put, and I might get killed for this, might put Travis Scott above J. Cole. I might.
I'm not mad at that.
I might.
Well, because it's not based. See, that's the thing. When people look at lists, they think of, oh, you saying he's a better rapper than him.
Yeah.
No, like I don't. In the past, this nigga, and don't get me wrong. When we look at Dreamville Fest, that's a big thing. But this Astroworld Fest thing that's being built out, his impact musically, along with him now, he's selling sneakers crazy. Like, he's definitely one of the most influential of this decade.
Okay, so let me also throw in Tyler, the Creator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe, like, maybe I'm not looking at it right. I feel like the second half, so the last 5 years, right, Tyler's really made that impact. But from 2010, and you're shaking your head already.
Yep, I am.
2010,
Yep.
like, again,
Go
not
ahead.
saying he's not impactful at all.
Go ahead.
Of course, our future movement, really huge.
Mm-hmm.
But still, in comparison to this list, bro,
I don't think you know how, and not to slight you, but I don't think you know how influential Tyler, the Creator, is. I mean, all right, Our Future, cool, right? Beginning of, the first time I heard of them was like 2010, 2011-ish, right? Nobody was rocking Supreme before they seen Tyler rocking that shit. I mean, they were, but not to the degree. Like, I feel like he boosted that brand on another level when he first came out.
Okay.
That goes.
Again, I'm not really playing devil's advocate because I'm really asking questions.
Right.
Okay, so why not A$AP Rocky? Like, if we're talking about influence on fashion, like, okay, A$AP is in my opinion comparable or maybe even surpasses Tyler.
Well, go ahead, my fault. Finish.
Yeah, and musically, I know last couple of years he's kind of slowed up with, like presence-wise, but like you're telling me that Rocky maybe doesn't deserve that. Again, I'm just asking questions, and I'm not knocking him. It's just really
Is an A$AP Rocky show as big as a Tyler, the Creator show?
Not now, but
But we talking about the past 10 years. We talking about the past 10 years.
Okay, but if it was 4 years ago or 5 years ago, would you think?
I mean, I don't know, man. This is what I'm saying. I think, like, all right, so Tyler had a consistency of, like, every time he put out his solo albums, they sold around a certain amount of records. But not only that, bro, this nigga had a cartoon. Well, not just a cartoon. He had a show on Adult Swim. Remember the skit show he had there?
Yeah.
He had Loiter Squad. He had his own sneakers. It's mad shit that Tyler's done that people don't know that he actually done. Now, not taking nothing from Rocky, because Rocky is definitely one of the most influential people, but Rocky shifted from music very, very early.
Okay. Are we prisoners of the moment? And that's really why I even brought that up. Like,
Okay.
really just to kind of like, because this is the same discussion I would have if I'm like voting on this. Is like, what about a Big Sean or a 2 Chainz? 2010 or even
Musically.
musically finally famous dropped in was it 2009?
2010. It was like 2010.
Yeah. So okay. So we're in that 10-year span.
Musically, but consistent. This plays into consistency as well, right? Big Sean got more misses than he got hits as far as making albums.
You won't tell me that.
He got finally famous, right?
Tell
All
me
right,
that one.
finally famous. What's the Dark Sky
Sky
Paradise?
was lit. Come on now.
All right, how many albums does he have?
Well, right, I can't remember.
His second album,
Listen, he's
right.
only really quantified with a potential miss on the last 2 projects. One was
his second album, the Jhené Aiko shit, and the shit with Metro Boomin. Those are 3 misses. Those 3 misses.
Okay, that Jhené Aiko shit was definitely not for me.
All right, but those
people
are 3.
liked it.
But that's 3 misses though. Like we talking about discography, that's 3 misses.
That was an EP too.
That's 3 misses.
2088. Come on, stop playing, man.
Listen, bro. All right, I don't want to make this into a big
2 Chainz.
2 Chainz.
Yeah, I'm throwing out some names who I know have been like
2
you know.
Chainz, I say 2 Chainz as well, but I think that 2 Chainz makes a lot of moves. This is another thing, like a lot of his moves aren't in the forefront of what he does. And he's been doing shit for years. I just think that a lot of shit that he does isn't in the forefront. And he hasn't had like, since, when was the Cruise Summer album, 2012? Since around that time, Cruise Summer came out like 2012.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah, it's like 2012. Since early 2010, since then, I don't think he's declined in his rap skill or anything. I think bar for bar, he's still one of the best. But I feel like his presence has dipped a bit in this decade, towards the end.
Chance the Rapper.
We ain't putting Chance the Rapper.
Okay.
Come on, my nigga. Like
No, I'm just throwing out some.
You just shooting from the hip now, like.
I'm throwing some names. Okay, the Migos.
Absolutely. But they didn't. That's the thing. I feel like most of these people, we're talking from 2010 on. We're not talking about Migos made an impact as artists in 2014, really.
2013,
You know what I mean? So.
All right. I'm just trying to give everybody their proper.
No, everybody.
You know why?
Everybody
Because
should get their we didn't make this list also though. So
no, absolutely. I'm just saying that, like, on a debate wise, like, could we make cases for other people?
We could make cases for a lot
because
of niggas.
listen, this show might be aired on Complex, but we ain't gonna come up here and sit and be like, oh yeah, this is great, this is amazing.
Nah.
Fuck no. So, yeah, I think it's a decent list. We could kind of.
Wait, how many people was this in total? That was the top 10.
That was the top 10.
But it was.
I do think Meek probably.
It was only 10.
top
Okay,
10.
it was only 10.
Listen, we do have a fan question though, right?
Okay.
With the decade coming to an end, and by the way, salute to my man Pearl Clemens, 89. He said, with the decade coming to an end, do you see hip hop dominating the music genre for the next 10 years?
Of course.
Easy, right? That's
Yeah,
an easy
of course,
question.
Man. Hip hop ain't going nowhere. That shit ain't going nowhere, man. It's hip hop culture is the most influential shit amongst the planets.
Do you see a point where, like, you know, the proverbial like bubble burst? Like that was the question in terms of people thinking about, like, quote unquote mumble rap and the internet age, in terms of creating like these social media rappers. It was like it's gonna pop at some point, and we're gonna go back to the basics. Do you feel like at some point the hip hop bubble pops and there's a new genre, or like rock comes back, or like
man.
what is it?
Nah, I think like on some G shit, like I feel like it's always been whack niggas, man. It's gonna, since as long as you got great people, you got people that's trash. That's always gonna happen. But I hate that the fact that when it comes to hip hop, the conversation of the state of hip hop or the culture of hip hop or whatever is always the whack niggas. That's when everybody says, yo, man, hip-hop ain't they always start with the niggas that's the wackest first. They don't never say, well, he's doing this, he's doing it, and all of these niggas rap. Because if we look at, like, if we go back to that list, if we talking about rap, Tyler Creator can rap. Fucking Kanye at one point in time, like, even if whether he was writing it or not, was putting out some really good raps. Drake, Meek, Kendrick, Cole, even Big Sean. Like, it's so many people that could fucking rap, but the first thing people say is, little this, or fucking him this. That's the first thing they focus on. So hip hop is gonna continue to dominate because people want to be a part of it.
So I look at it with, you know, I'm a numbers dude, so like the genre is still growing exponentially.
Right.
Like if you look at the streams and if you look at like just the social file, it's growing exponentially, and at some point it has to almost stagnate, or that combustible point is when it started to decrease. And usually just like in life, like another genre starts to take, that's how everything popular, you get to a peak and then that's the point of combustion.
I don't think it's gonna come to a peak though. You think?
Well, I think that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at, it's so many, I've seen like so many people who you wouldn't think would be into hip hop. Like their mom and their dad might not be into hip hop. They might be on some Rolling Stones, the Beatles shit, but their kids is hip hop.
Right.
They're getting introduced to hip hop by going to festivals. Remember when festivals wasn't a hip hop thing?
Right.
These days you go to, these days when you think about festivals, unless you're talking about like EDC or something that's like, out there electronic music, right? You're really talking about festivals dominated by hip hop.
Right,
Right?
absolutely.
I remember when festivals wasn't even a thing, like Waka Flocka, like crossing over into quote unquote their world.
Right.
He's the only nigga doing festivals.
Absolutely.
Now festivals is a commonplace.
Absolutely.
So I do see it continue to grow for the foreseeable future. I'm just like, the only thing I could really predict, I feel like maybe a sub-genre. I can't even see any other genre really just overtaking hip hop because hip hop is dictating the cool.
Absolutely.
And whatever
It always
dictates
has.
the cool will always have the people.
Absolutely. It
And-
always has.
And unless something else come along, I can't see it.
I feel you. Right.
Anyway, we do got to get to our show's tunes playlist for this month. Interesting, like for the last month, we had some interesting like music that got put out. A lot of artists dropped either singles or dropped their projects. I wish I had Nadeska's pick, but she could barely talk, so she could probably barely listen to music.
Well, I get put onto a lot of shit from you, so I want to see what you checking out right now.
Yeah, okay. So I'm not gonna lie, this Lil Baby Whoa song is dope.
Yeah.
Yo, I kid you not. No, I'm serious. I kid you not. I love Lil Baby.
Right.
But I'm waiting till I get to the point where I feel like all his shit sounds the same or I'm tired of him. And that happens with most artists.
Right.
Let's just be clear because you have your moment and these days you flood it out and after a while people be like, yo, enough.
Right.
I still haven't gotten there with Baby, man. And to keep it real, before Drip Too Hard, like a year and a half before that, I think the freestyle dropped then. I've been rocking with them consistently till then. This is another one, so that works.
Right.
Roddy Ricch and Gunna Start With Me.
Hard.
I rock with the song as well.
Me too.
Roddy Ricch has not missed at all since he's came out. And I do believe, he's holding down the West Coast in a very unique way because he doesn't sound like the traditional West Coast artist, right? I flipped the narrow a Lil Baby. Hey, you see me? I like to keep it fair.
Right.
Because a bunch of times I was saying, where the fuck is Flip the Narrow? Where the fuck is he at?
Right.
So when he dropped the track, I made sure I listened to it.
Right.
And I'm not gonna lie, I do think he got a hit with this song. I don't know who's behind him, what label, this and third.
We the best. Epic. Come on, academics. What are you doing?
No, well, listen, Cali got to really
Dramatic
work
is
this
in
record
this.
because this record is good.
Right.
This record is good. I do have Trippie Redd and the Baby Death. This shit is fire.
Right.
Yo, like, Trippie, I understand your plan. I know we didn't cover it today, but like, he was talking about how he won't like quote unquote suck dick or like be too
That's so crazy.
like be too friendly with other artists that they could post his shit that he could get further ahead. Basically, he's not playing the networking game.
Right.
And I seen like fans saying, "Oh, yo, you kind of fell off since about." Yo, Trippie's still putting out pretty good music. Like his music didn't deteriorate. Sometimes people forget that the music is still good. The noise around the person that has changed.
Right.
And that's why I think this song's fire. 100% this song's fire. And also got to do the Baby Bop.
Bop on Bro,
Man, this shit is fucking.
That video took it to another level too.
That video reminded me of the Childish Gambino song.
This is America.
This is America.
Right.
There was just no cuts.
Yeah, one
You're not
shot.
jumping. Like there's not a bunch of it's just straight through. Like
No choreography. Yeah.
listen, that might be late, but like for video year, I'm definitely adding that one. Go ahead though.
All right, so let me get to my list. You know what I mean? I got the speaker's piece. Can we scroll up a bit? Thank you. So first off, I got my man Lou Got Cash featuring A Boogie coming side. Lou been putting out music for a bit. You know what I mean? But he has a dope project out. He has a dope project, and this is one of the joints, the standout joints off of there. Next, I got my man Hitmaker with the Dot Box remix featuring Chinese Kitty, Dream Doll, Mulatto, Dreezy, Young and May. I love what Hitmaker's doing with his platform because he used the first remix to kind of break it open, but
I
then
feel like he's pushing the remix more, right?
he's pushing the remix more. I think it makes sense for him to push the remix a little
The
bit
women
more.
are hungrier than niggas.
Huh?
The women on this song,
yeah.
like Dream Doll and a lot of Dreezy, they going harder and even promoting the record. Like the niggas look like they did us a favor.
Right. But this one, I like this because it's like an opportunity for people to shine at a high level. Like, you know, of course, Young M.A., I feel like she's still a bit like, not underground, but still like, you know, only for a certain type of crowd, but this kind of opens up, you know. Next I got Tory Lanez featuring my man Trey Songz, was Still Waiting, flipping over the I Can't Help But Wait sample off of Chicks Taste 5, that's my shit. I got my man Partisan Fontaine with Shea Butter. Dope single, he samples, I think it's a Shimmy Shimmy Ya.
You've been rocking with Partisan, huh?
Yeah, man, he got the new project out, Underrated, which is very, very dope. I think he's very slept on, but the people will catch up. And then lastly, I got the homie Rod Wave with Green Light. Rod Wave is somebody I just seen on social media one day, checked him out, and his shit is booming. So, yeah.
Dope list. Real quick, just speaking of Rod Wave, he's actually our fast break segment. I think we're gonna probably close with this.
Okay.
Rod Wave, he's from St. Petersburg, Florida. He's signed to Alamo Records, and to be honest, like he's been catching the entire music community by storm.
Right.
Like me, I'm a numbers guy, so when I see somebody's numbers go from 10,000 first week, and usually it's supposed to go down.
Right.
60%, that's the average. And I see this shit goes up, went from 10 to like 27.
Right.
I know word of mouth is carrying this guy.
Right.
So, you know, like I've seen a bunch of social clips of like vocally, he's killing it. And really like his first breakthrough hit was Heartbreak Hotel that was released in 2016. But like after that, he released a couple of mixtapes, and I really want to know what you think about him.
Yo, so how the fuck did I stumble upon Rod Wave, yo? I just was on IG one day just
Explore
like
page?
scrolling. Nah, I wasn't even exploring. I was just scrolling. I can't remember who posted them, but I just kept seeing like, I seen this heavy set dude, and he was singing like you know what I mean? He was singing, but he was singing about some real shit, and I could tell like how he was delivering it. It sounded like it was real, you know what I mean? And I was like, you know, let me check him out. I mean, like, let me check him out. It's hard to check out music because music is such a task for us. You know what I mean? We got to listen to music for our own taste, to review on the show, for business we want to do. So it's like when something catches me, I'm like, wow. And I tuned in to Ghetto Gospel, and like just going through the whole project, man, I'm really impressed. Like I ain't gonna lie, I'm really impressed. Not just because of the singing, but seeing the market he comes from. It's like I've never heard really anything come from St. Petersburg, Florida. I know Florida has a ton of artists, but like to see the consistency that Florida's been, and we talked about this too, like from X to Denzel Curry to Kodak to, you know, Glock 9, so many other kids coming out of Florida, to see this is the next thing. I think that this puts them in a whole nother conversation when it comes to Florida as a market, you know, and he's really ill. Like he's really ill. I'm fucking with him.
Hey, listen, he's a great singer. I'm not gonna lie, listen, so the first time I saw him, right? I seen that he was getting a cosign from Kevin Gates, and salutes Kevin Gates as well. But also, anytime I see they're giving a shine to like a big nigga gotta be good, bro. Nigga gotta be good, bro. Come on, man, you know the vibes.
For the big
same
guys.
with Lizzo. I see some people try to say like Lizzo industry. Nah, anytime somebody, the big boned chick or the big boned nigga getting rocking out, I'm sorry, I know they good.
Yeah.
So vocally, that's the thing that I think captures everyone at first, and I think then the feeling that he puts forth in the music.
Yeah.
And that shit like goes beyond just like, okay, a cool song. When a song speaks to you like that, it feels like they've now connected with you. And I do believe that, you know, he has a very bright future ahead of him. I see him heating up now. You get me? I feel like in the next couple of months, and I'm watching how Alamo plays this because, you know, Alamo is really good. There's some good people over there. I do believe they've been waiting for like that diamond in the rough like this.
Right.
Someone who, you know, people really rock with. And now we need to see how they're going to push him. So I'm excited to see what he got going
Well, you know they got Dirk over there too. So
yeah, but Dirk's so big now, like Dirk be getting work by Interscope. Like,
but I was gonna say, like, I would love to see both of them work together on some shit. I just think like with the thing about Rod Wave is like when he said like how he says things, it comes from a place of like you could tell he either went through it or he has like firsthand experience of somebody else going through it right next to him. You know what I mean? And I feel like he has a voice where he speaks for people, especially coming from where he's coming from. You know, so salute the Rod Wave.
Absolutely. And also, I'm hearing the wrap-up signal in my ear, but because I know we're going to be off for a week, I'm going to give you one segment.
Okay.
Okay. A$AP Rocky says he's going back to Sweden. Surprise, surprise. Okay? And he says he's going to be actually giving back as well. You know, Trump reportedly told A$AP, was told to let A$AP Rocky got sentenced just to play the race card. However, Rocky, he don't give a fuck about that. He said he's going back to Sweden. This is what he had to say.
What is the desire to go back?
When I was in Sweden, I met so many people like myself, you know, and all of those immigrants didn't really have the kind of support that they needed. Like me, being a celebrity, I had worldwide coverage. We had the American embassy, you know. These people come from countries that they don't have help, you know. And Sweden, they take in immigrants and shit like that. And I just felt like I wanted to give back.
Wanted to give back. Is he tripping, or do you think he's doing the right thing?
On first sight, I thought that he was tripping, but I can never say anything bad about a person giving back. You know what I mean? I think that that's tremendous. But, I mean, Sweden, if I had such a bad experience.
Well, you said Sweden, bro.
Nah, for real, I'm just saying, like, bro, he had a bad experience there. So I think that that's very brave of him to do. I personally wouldn't do it. But when he says more of the purpose of why he's trying to do it, I don't know who he might have met when he was locked up. He might have met some younger kids that was in there for either some pettier shit that he was locked up for, and he has them in the back of his mind. So salute to him if he's trying to do that. But I wouldn't personally go back to school.
I have all the respect in the world for people like A$AP, for Meek, for 21 Savage, who realize how privileged they are, even in the worst of circumstances.
Yeah.
You get me? When you get incarcerated, like whether it's for immigration or you get incarcerated for what Rocky did, or even for what Meek did, and you're stuck in that whole like probation, parole loop, you get to realize as bad as you have it, there's someone who's much worse.
Yeah.
And I think all these men met people who they realized like, hey, I know this is really an inconvenience to your life right now, but you're gonna get out and it's gonna be a good story for you. I'm gonna still be here.
Right.
And you have to salute to, again, I wouldn't go back to Sweden if I was in, but I wasn't in the situation he was in. I wasn't physically around those people and heard those stories and stayed 2 weeks around it. So I have nothing but respect for A$AP Rocky for doing what he's doing. All I'm gonna say is just be very careful.
Be careful.
Don't get Lil Jon out here, and don't wear too much jewelry, because you heard the Lil Jon story?
No. Well, we ain't got enough time for that today, but it's crazy. Well, before we close, I would like to say tomorrow, I'm gonna be in Harlem, giving back, and I'm gonna be doing my
second
annual act. Everybody Eats. We giving out turkeys and we giving out sides. Please just spread the word. Our goal is to feed 100 families in Harlem. So if you could come by the YMCA tomorrow, please do. I'll be there from 4 to 8 on 135th Street and 7th Avenue for my Harlemites, and for the people who's just moving to Harlem, Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard.
Hey, real quick question, like, what made you want to do that? Because you did it last year in Complex Helps You. I believe you're having some help with some other folks this year.
Yeah.
But you're still doing it. What made you want to do that in the first place? Because, nigga, you could just be out here rocking and rolling and just
well, the
go
thing
through
is,
Harlem shining. What's the problem?
Man, you know what it is? Act like, without
Trying to get
Harlem.
some Frank Lucas on, nigga?
No, I ain't getting no Frank Lucas on. I seen somebody say some Nino Brown shit. Nino Brown was a rat. I ain't doing none of that. The reason why I did it is because I think back to years when my mom didn't have it as easy, didn't have it easy. And I think about myself being able to afford a nice watch, or, I don't live in Harlem anymore, but I don't forget where I come from, you know what I mean? And I want to be able to lend my platform or my brand or who I am to the people of Harlem and show them that they can do it too, and feed them in the process. So I'm not one of those guys that, I'm doing good in life and I don't want to share it. I want to share it with as many people as I can. So I'm doing it.
That's kind of inspirational. Maybe I got to do something like that.
You got to, Act. Come on, man.
From Hackensack, New Jersey, man.
Hey, let's do something in Hackensack,
back.
man. Let's do something in Hackensack.
Listen, thank y'all for tuning in. Just a reminder, once again, we're off next week, okay? Kill the rumors. The desk should be back fine when we return. So you will be back to the three lovely faces like you're used to.
Right.
And that's on December 2nd. We have our award show. We are open to all you guys' suggestions and opinions about who should be nominated and blah, blah. but that is to come. We're trying to finish up the year strong. Thank you guys for rocking out with us for the entire year. Also, just really a heartfelt message from not only me and Wayno and even Nadeska, but also the team. For you guys who supported us day in and day out, make sure you spend some time with your family in the next week.
Absolutely.
And, you know, like, listen, in 2019, I've gone through roller coasters. You know, I lost my grandmother this year, so I've
man,
realized
sorry to hear that.
I've realized the necessity of family time. You
Right.
know, I've had some of the best moments with my mom as well. So, you know, for everybody watching, please take some time with your family, no matter how busy you are, no matter how much money you getting, whatever.
Right.
That's what it's all about, and it all boils down to like what we're all doing now too.
Absolutely.
So, see you guys back on December 2nd. Have a good break.
Peace, y'all. Nadeska, we miss you.
I know, right?